3 global gatherings, a total of 59 countries participating, including 27 EU members, a combined GDP of more than 80% of the world's economy. The ASEAN, G20 and APEC summits, mainly focusing on finances and coming during hard economic times, may sound like an ideal chance to find a way to deal with the global recession and the way it's impacted the world's financial system. But instead, Western countries decided to turn all the 3 venues into a political stage, all to confront Russia, with some attempting to sway Asian and Latin American states, which haven't been singing the same tune with the West in terms of imposing sanctions on Russia.
During the past few months, France focused itself not just to support Ukraine, and we will follow up, but to work very closely with the different countries like China, India, the whole region, Middle East, Africa, Latin America, to create an increasing consensus in order to say this war is also your problem.
This G20 summit will not be business as usual. We will call out Putin's regime and lay bare their utter contempt for the kind of international cooperation and respect for sovereignty forums like the G20 represent.
At the moment when world leaders here in Bali are seeking to make progress on global peace, Putin is striking civilian targets and children and women. And, I mean, it's almost, in my words, not yours, barbaric what he's doing.
No surprise that there was no time for real business talk. Too busy with calling out Putin, who, by the way, didn't attend any of the 3 gatherings. The result? The way to a long-awaited solution to global financial problems that affect everybody hasn't been paved.
There's obviously a massive gap between the scale of the problems and what's being proposed to solve them. What's being suggested? They want to stop the war in Ukraine because apparently they believe that would quickly bring down consumer prices. They also want banks to increase their interest rates to contain inflation. Clearly, those actions would be absolutely inadequate. They simply wouldn't be enough to solve the current problems because these are structural, systemic issues.
A deadly missile strike in Poland, as well as US tensions over Taiwan and North Korea, overshadowed important talks on inflation, energy and food security. That angered the Eastern Bloc participants.
The Cold War mentality, hegemonism, unilateralism and protectionism are mounting. Acts that distort international norms, disrupt economic linkages, inflate conflicts in regions, and impede the development of cooperation are all too common. History tells us that bloc confrontation cannot solve any problem, and that bias will only lead to disaster. The Asia-Pacific is no one's backyard and should not become an arena for big power contest. No attempt to wage a new Cold War will ever be allowed by the people and by our times.
This year's APEC summit must rise above these challenges and deliver hope to the world at large that, collaboratively, there is room for us to prevail and prosper.
Despite an enormous pressure on Russia and the countries supporting it at this year's Asian summits, all the 3, the states somehow managed to come to a consensus, adopt the final declarations and actually talk. Fears are, though, that the worst is yet to come. The US will host the next APEC, and this will be an even harder test for Russia and an even bigger challenge for the entire world. Marie van Oceana, RT from Bangkok in Thailand.